the difference between making average at-home pizza or good at-home pizza is experience, right? I can look at it, I'm like, I can tell that that's going to stick on the peel, or I can look and I can say, this is a stromboli, not pizza dough. Because if it doesn't roll out great for a pizza, you just roll it into a stromboli or make a sandwich out of it. Like, just have to get creative.
Now, Adam Marks, I am Pizza Adam. Thank you for joining the Pizza King podcast. Tell us who you are. For those of us who, I've been watching your content and I love the pizza creations, but there's some folks here that maybe they haven't been introduced to you yet. Tell us who you are and how you got into the pizza space.
Awesome. It's great to chat with you. So my name's Adam Marks. I live in South Florida, just in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, just a western suburb. I consider myself a home enthusiast or a prosumer. I started off, and it was funny because when I first started making pizza, I thought I was great. And now when I look back at the stuff I did from 1.5 to 2 years ago, I was like, oh man, what was I thinking about? And like, you know, how did I pass that off? But like it's just like when you gain weight or you lose weight, you don't when you're so closer, you don't see whether you're gaining or losing weight until you come back and reflect. So I have a setup in my backyard. My wife and family are big supporters of my concept. I call myself I am Pizza Adam because you remember during Iron Man, I'm kind of a Marvel guy. Like Tony Stark says, I am Iron Man. So like it just came, I am Pizza Adam, right? So I make pizza. We end up having pizza 4 or 5 nights out a week. I try to stay fit. I keep myself to like eating one slice or a portion of the slice. Believe it or not, I eat more of the toppings or the ingredients before I make the pizza than I actually eat of the pizza.
Like as you're prepping for your pizza, that's when you're snacking.
So I'll cut meatballs up and I'm like, I like meatballs and I'll snack on them. I work with as a part of the Griddle Crew, which is the Blackstone Ambassador Program. So they not too many people know that they have a pizza oven enterprise, but I'm one of the few people in the Griddle Crew that focuses solely on pizza. So I consider myself, and I tell the leaders there, like, I'm the field goal kicker of their football team, right? Like, so I don't be doing about offense and defense, and all I care about is a small segment of their business. But it's been really, really, really good. Like I told you when we were chatting in the past, is that it turned from an interest to a hobby to now it's a passion slash addiction, right? Like so and it's completely it's not a business. It's purely entertainment for my family and myself. Social networking and or the Instagram, TikToks of the world, it ends up letting people know the vibe that I have and what I'm doing. So people get to have some insight. And the people that see my setup when they come to visit, they're like, oh, it's much bigger than what I thought it was. Like you don't see the small narrow part of it, but it's I can't tell you how it seems really shallow to me, but it's really made my life fuller by having this interest. I never really had an interest. I was very, very work oriented and family oriented. Now I have a personal interest, so it's really very fulfilling.
I think you take an interest in one of in my opinion, and I'm biased, but in one of the cooler aspects of the food industry, which is pizza. Pizza is a lot of fun, is very versatile. What drew me to your content was the Blackstone oven with the rotating deck. My brother JR, my business partner, he swears by that oven, and that's what he's got in his backyard. And he's been telling us for years, like, I don't care, don't get any other oven because this thing is
There's
perfect.
there's a couple imitators out there that have similar styles. But it's my tagline on all my posts. It says everyone can make great pizza with the Blackstone pizza oven, right? Like you don't need to be great because all the nuances and techniques, which I am good at, you don't really need to worry about because of that rotating stone.
Yeah, that thing is pretty amazing, and it's it could do a bunch of pizzas. He's up in Pennsylvania now, and he did, I don't know, 65 pizzas for his team
Did
at
that
his place,
really?
and it handled it all.
Well, so he was on the clock for making 65 pizzas. That I did a workplace pizza thing, and I used the smaller one, like because I don't have a truck or anything, so I brought the Leggero Pro, the smaller one, and I brought the another one of their products. I was able to make like 12, and people were still waiting, but making 65, that's impressive.
He's got a lot of pizza experience, in his former life with me. But yeah, he was able to do 60, I think 60, 65 pizzas for his team up in Pennsylvania, and it
It's
was pretty
funny that
cool
you
to
say
see.
that because my wife does a lot of charity work, and we go to a lot of events and stuff. And I've seen those guys with the carts, like they have like it's pizza ovens on the back of it's like a food truck, but it's not really a food truck. It's like a modified pickup truck. And those guys, they make they make smaller pizzas like 10 or maybe 9, 10. So the stretching and the stuff isn't really as intense, but they're able to they move a lot of product. It's good.
How did you teach yourself how to make pizza once you decided you wanted to pursue this? What was that process like?
It's so funny because people come over and they're like, show me. And really my whole vibe is, again, it's back to everyone can make great pizza with that. Like most of the stuff I make my dough occasionally. Like I have my wife bought me the KitchenAid stand mixer, and I use a variety of different recipes. But like one of the other motifs that I have is that store-made products are not they're not your enemy. Like if you season up store-made products, you can do okay, right? So like Trader
Yeah.
Joe's has an okay dough. Walmart, believe it or not, has an okay dough. Aldi happens to have the best home pre-made dough that's out there.
And it's only $1.
It's cheap,
I
cheap.
love that. I tried the jalapeno one from Aldi and I love it.
That one was a surprise trick. I thought that it was flavored, but there was pieces of jalapeno, and so it caught
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But the point of the matter is that like uh experience has told me, like when I go into the store, I select the ones that are going to work for me, because like if they start to bloom, you're never going to be able to stretch them. If they're all out of shape, Blackstone has this guy Chef Leo. He's world renowned for doing for making pizza, and his motto is that round dough makes round pizzas, right? So
Yes.
if you don't have a round dough, you're not going to make a round pizza. I can assure you of that. So it's just so interesting that and I don't want to be a pizza snob, but like I started off uh, making it in a tray, right? Like I bought this Calphalon pan from, I think it was TJ Maxx or something. It was a pizza pan, and I was like, I don't really know how to make circles great, so I just stretched it to there. You bake it in the oven for about 1 or 2 minutes. You use tongs and the peel, and you pull it off, and then you cook it on the stone for the rest of it. That was a good beginner way, right? I learned along the way that I was using flour, and then people that I met on the internet, they were like, "Hey, cornmeal or semolina,
Similarly.
a combination of flour." So now I use 2 parts semolina, 2 parts cornmeal, and then 1 part flour in my mix to prep it. And it just works for me. It may not work for everyone else. And when I was using more flour, a couple fires, because flour is very flammable, right? So, you stick away from that. Really, I will tell you that the difference between making average at home pizza or good at home pizza is experience, right? Because I can look at it, I'm like, I can tell that that's going to stick on the peel, or I can look and I can say, this is a stromboli, not pizza dough. Because if it doesn't roll out great for a pizza, you just roll it into a stromboli, or make a sandwich out of it. Like, you just have to get creative. The first time I was doing it, I was stretching it, and somebody showed me with a rolling pin how to do it. And I was like, I didn't really like that rolling pin method. It wasn't for me. But so I think the original part of your question was, how would I get how would I learn on it? It's
Yeah.
purely watching other people do it, trial and error. And I've I've cursed, and I've dropped a lot of stuff, and I've burnt a lot of stuff. Some of the bloopers that I have for that, my kids have, and they claim that they're going to hold it against me when I become rich and famous.
That's exactly what I'm thinking as I'm listening to you. Like, I know there's video somewhere of one of those fires or one of those pizza doughs that had to become a sandwich or a stromboli. Are you hanging on to it in the vault, or the kids have it
They
stored safely?
I, the irony of that is that in my world, like my social media world, the ones that get the most comments are the ones where I screw up and people some want to be haters, and a lot of people want to give advice on what to do.
Hmm.
So like every once in a while, I'll slip one of them in there of a epic fail because just to stimulate some new followers or to get a little buzz. But the good ones, it's a little risque, but I call my best and my most popular ones are kind of like food porn, where it's bubbling pizza or a pizza coming out and it's steaming and everything. Where people who just are pizza enthusiasts, they like that whole vibe. So I'll get a lot of views and follows off of that. But the mistakes get the most interaction. I've really the instructional ones. People say you have to do instructional ones. They want to know more about that, but believe it or not, those are the ones that get the least traction because I found that most of the social media followers these days are have low attention span. By the time by the time I get to where I want to get to, they've already moved on to somewhere else.
Yeah, they've already gone. They like you just got to hook them. When you started making pizzas, was the intent for it to grow into the social media presence that you became?
Yeah, I have to thank my daughter for that. So I have three kids. Oldest that's a boy, a girl, and then a younger boy that went to college and is like a marketing specialist. So we work together on my social media stuff now. But at one point, my daughter said, "Hey, you know what? I think people would like this, like to see what you're doing, right?" So we just used my iPhone. It was like an iPhone 13 at that point, and we just started. I look at them now, and I had no microphone. I had there's no filters. The editing was bad. And I was like, okay, humble beginnings. It's not so bad to remind yourself. But yeah, it was my daughter. It was 100% her idea. We sat at our kitchen table one day, and she's like, as we were making pizza, she's like, people would like this, and it's turned out. So today in Facebook, I have like 5,500 followers. Instagram. Is the hardest place for I get the most traction for content, but the hardest place to get followers. I have like 900 in Instagram. TikTok is almost 1,500. And believe it or not, YouTube Shorts, I'm up to 600. I didn't place much effort into that, but so, it's like 9,000 total followers. I mean, I'm getting to be where it's kind of legit.
Yeah, and I see that you're also very active on in groups and you know you know forums like that where you kind of see a mix of pizza enthusiasts, pizza pros, and casual fans. Where do you get the most engagement?
Let's see. Um, what engagement do you mean like where people are reaching out to you or people or like
I would say, where are you getting the best conversations around
so
your
so
pizzas?
what I do today is I messed up some of the best groups that I still want to be part of. I probably was a little too aggressive in the beginning. Lesson learned. I was probably too aggressive in posting stuff and challenging their group policies. But I found that um, people that like this content usually are associated with groups in Facebook. Facebook happens to be the one that I do the best with. So I did a search for homemade or backyard pizza groups, and Meta's pretty good at that. So they suggest places to be part of. I've joined. I I reached out to the admins and I let them know if you're ever going to join a group and you want to publish in their group, reach out to the admin and let them know what your intentions are, right? Because I have no intention of selling anything or doing anything. So I just said, hey, I make this content. I think your people would like it. Please let me know if it becomes too much to a person. And I learned that after getting kicked out of one or two that I want to be in. So now they respond and they're like, yeah, no, it's cool. We like your vibe, we like your content, keep it going. So I post to those groups, and then when people like my stuff, Meta gives you the ability to send them a note saying, hey, you like my stuff? Do you want to follow my page? And then um, that's how I build my population.
That's pretty cool, and that's good advice for the beginner content creator and enthusiasts, or even if you're a pizza shop. Those groups have people and commenters, and like you said, when you make mistakes, people love to give a lot of advice. And the pros out there, you post a pizza, I'm telling you, the pros are going to go, they're going to help you. And I love that about the community. Even if it comes off one way or the other, everyone's does it with the intentions of just
Most Americans are kind. There's a bunch of haters, but most Americans are kind. Like they'll say, hey, you know what? Here's what I did to solve that same problem.
Yeah,
Even though I know how to solve it, I just was showing everyone that I'm human too.
I like that. Do you have a favorite? I also like, so going into some of your creations, you've done, fusions, and I've seen you took some, like, a fast food meal and turned it into a pizza. Like, you just, what inspires you, and how do you decide what gets filmed? What are we having today? And, I guess pizza 4 or 5 nights a week. You start to, how
Yeah,
do you keep it from getting boring?
it's not, it's not like we eat it. Like there's some nights where I'll make a couple of them for content and then they'll be around. But like, it's not like we're eating it every night. A cheese pizza is kind of, like there's not too many ways to refilm that so it's different, right? Like you can mix up the cheese and all that stuff. But one day my youngest, the one that has the marketing degree, he was like, hey, let's try extreme pizzas, right? So it started off with, I think the first one we did was the ranch, like that the ranch pizza from one of the wing shops. Like, and then we're like, oh, he brought home chicken nuggets. Just like try to make this, and then like, we, and then I go through these phases, right? Because people have short attention spans. So at one point, I was like, hey, send me out some challenges. At one point, I was like, I was in Aldi and I saw, oh, there's beef tips. I was like, oh, I bet that would be a good pizza. So like, there you'll see that if you look at the history, there's sequences. Like we'll do like a series of this, and then we'll move on to a series of that, and then sometimes we'll come back to that series if something unique happens. Does that make sense?
I like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, absolutely. It gives it a chance just to refresh it, with some different types of content, and if it works, you come back to it. If it doesn't, you tried it and you get to move on.
Yeah, like people throw out some really really like absurd combinations, and like you'll notice this is another trade secret. Like so, like I'm not really that big into like some of the exotic sauces and stuff like that. So like when I make a pizza and it's something that I don't really like, you'll see that like I'll put a sauce or something unique on only a portion of it. So like so if I want to eat it, I don't have to. I stay away from that
You
area.
don't have to eat something that you don't like. Yeah,
It's a very unique nuance, but you'll see that like like if I make a jalapeno pizza, it's only going to be a certain part because I don't really like that's terribly spicy stuff. And like when people lately, people have been asking me to, like I'll reach out to them and they'll send me like some of their products and I'll use it as a mutual promotion. But um, you know, the whole idea in this business is that people don't care what I like; they just care what I make.
very true. When it comes to watching it, and they love what it looks like. Do you have, a certain, not to, I guess, not to go too far into your secrets of content, but do you have a certain format for the videos that you love to, is it, do I capture the cut first? Do I show a close up of the slice first? Like, a lot of pizza shops try to make content, but we don't do a great job. We're in the kitchen and I have 6,000 cheese pizzas in my phone. I promise.
Well,
They all
you
they all
know
look the same.
You know that in your world, the Krispies guys, right? Like everyone knows the Krispies guys, right? I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we don't really care about what they're making. We care about their persona while they're making it, right? Like so, it's like and my youngest tried to explain this to me, and you guys call it a hook. He's like, you have to get something in there that tells algorithm that they want to look at your stuff, and then every once in a while you could drop in some personality stuff. So then it's like four of like sizzle stuff to get them following you and then one of content. And then as you get a bigger base, then it's three of sizzle, two of content. Then at some point it may be 50-50 or reverse the other way. But people like the food, but they care more about the person making the food, I think, than they do the food. I keep saying, does that make sense? But that's the way my mind works.
No, I understand. I totally understand. What
It's like
is it that you
at your pizza place, if I really cared about pizza, I'd want to know about your prep area. I'd want to know about behind the scenes. I'd want to know about stuff that like I can see from walking up to your counter what I can see, but like I'd want to see what a 50-pound bag looks like, or when you get a delivery, how many what's in that delivery. But like it could be like in that particular thing, I'd be like, hey, what is it? I'd make a pizza, a nice looking pizza, and then I'd be like, what does it take to get that pizza? And then it would be show you and your brother like unloading pizza, unloading dough, or making a dough thing. Like in really like 2-second clips of the whole process. Like that would interest me. I would stay for the whole thing for that.
I like that because I think people do want to get to know the behind the scenes of the shops too. It just it builds that story like watching a reality show or
Sure.
something. And that's why people do it.
Even the stuff about like like if you were trying to figure out what yeast to use, like people don't understand the difference between, like the different types of yeast and some you put with warm water, some you put at room temperature. Like you can't have it all the time because the there's not much sizzle in that, but people they do care and they'll remember, like they'll remember that you taught them about something having to do. At least I think my people, because people come up to me and they'll be like, "Hey, you remember when you did this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And I don't consider myself a celebrity, but like when it's the first thing that everyone I know comes up to me and said they're like, "Hey, Pizza Adam," I'm like, it boosts my ego a little bit.
Are you doing any of like you go on expo or any of the competition?
Yeah, I can't because all my stuff is. I mean, I could, but all my stuff is store bought, right? So like there's nothing unique about me. It's just me, right? So like here's here's my world, right? So like do you live in Florida?
Yeah, I'm up in Tampa.
Okay. So like we'll go to Publix and whatever Publix is on sale, like if there's pepperoni on sale, we'll get whatever that pepperoni is, right? So like I thought about doing a sequence of how to get stuff, like who really cares what brand it is, how to get stuff cheap to make pizza, right? Like I
Do
thought
you show that as part of your content too? Kind of like you going out shopping and
I should.
just picking
I
up
should, but I
ingredients?
haven't. I should, but I haven't.
That would be pretty cool to just to see, hey, I'm just going shopping and see what we're gonna find, and this is what it's gonna turn into tonight.
The only thing that really makes a difference is that like, like in the store they sell like the pizza sauce that is in the small containers and then they sell the large ones. Like I don't know if there's any difference between them, but like I'll just tell my wife, I'm like, when you're in Publix, just get tomato and basil, regular sauce, right? So like she'll get Rayo's. My particular favorite is Carbone's. Like I like that the best of all. But you can't get like chunky ones because chunky doesn't belong on. So like you get like the thinner ones. And the two things that I've learned the most are don't buy cheap cheese, don't buy shredded cheese, and get decent tomato sauce. All the other stuff doesn't really matter, but cheese matters the most. Like I've been dabbling. I go to GFS and I get the grande cheese, which is good. Or I'll go to Costco. They sell the Galbani, the block cheese, and I'll grind it. I'll shred it myself. If you're trying to make pizza, don't cheap out on the sauce. I mean, or
All
the
right, there.
sauce or the cheese.
Well, that was gonna be my next one. Is what advice would you give someone who's looking to just start making some pizzas at home themselves? Don't buy cheap sauce. Don't buy cheap shredded cheese.
Yeah, and like it's not the end of the world if you rip the dough or if it's not a perfect circle. It's not. For the Super Bowl party, we had the kid from one of the young kids from next door. They were over, and I was like, "Hey, let's make a pizza." And she was worried about ripping it. And I was like, "Well, if you rip it, we'll just flip it over and we'll fix it. It's not a big deal. We'll fix it." So, um, what do they say? Don't cry over spilled milk or stuff like that. And so, like, my first my first partnership was with this company called Spice Madness, and Spice Madness is a I don't know. My wife found them online somehow. They make a lot of the store spices and they came up with their own brand. That's an internet-based brand. So I reached out to them. We bought some stuff and I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, I'm starting out. Like, do you want to collab on any stuff?" So they sent me a bunch of stuff. I bought the pizza spices already from my own. And then I was like, "I really like your stuff. Do you want to partner on any of this stuff?" So they sent me a care package. I love care packages more than anything. I love care packages. So they sent me a package of their stuff and I promoted them and it really is their blend of spices that they use. I don't know how or why it is, but it just makes pizza taste like pizza. So the third part is good cheese, decent sauce, and like a decent spice blend, like a pizza spice blend, and it's gonna taste like pizza.
So when you found them, and it takes trial and error to get to that point, right? You got to try some things. You're gonna have some cheeses that don't work, some spices that don't work out for you. But when you do, and I like the point that you brought up, when you found something that you liked, you reached out to them and told them, and then it became something. So I think that that's another piece of advice I would probably say. Look, don't be afraid to reach out to some folks and let them know how you feel about their products, and they'll probably
So my
You
daughter,
know, companies like sending care packages too because it creates raving fans
yeah.
on the
So
internet.
my daughter on Instagram, she made a message for me, a blank message, and she sent it out to a couple of people for me. It was something that we inspired together. So she sent it out, and she was like, "Hey, Spice Madness, I use your spices. My name's this. Find me on this, this, and this. I'd love to have the opportunity to be an ambassador or to promote your stuff or whatever. Like,
Hmm.
do you guys would you guys be interested in sending me some of your stuff to try?" And I didn't realize that I've become friendly with some of these marketing people on the other side. I realize that they get hit with so many of these. So like your your um your success rate may be really low, but that doesn't mean to not do it, right? So like, yeah, like, and it's not that you can't afford to buy the stuff. It's just the fact that it's so much cooler when you say these guys trusted me to use their stuff, making my stuff.
Yeah, it shows that there's connection, and it shows that they're still at least paying attention to what's happening, like with real folks. I think that's important. We get a lot of a lot of things too, with samples and gear and all that, and we just try to entertain all of it. I don't always say I'm not affiliated with anybody, but I try to work with everybody because I just think it's fun that way, and we'll try it in the shop. People send me all kinds of things, and that's the good thing about having the shop is we can always use something and we'll find a way to make it work.
So I reached out to this olive oil company, right? Because I liked their vibe. Like you could tell they have similar beliefs. I didn't know how important like a finishing olive oil was going to be to my pizza. It's expensive for if you're running a business, it's expensive to use, right? Like it prices you out. Like it may be too expensive to do that, but these guys at Seasons, the company I work with, they make like flavor infused olive oil, and it's like a finishing olive oil. And I put it on top of the pizza now. Like I'll cook it most of the way, and I'll put it on at the very end. I'll cook it a little bit more, and it just makes I, I don't know what it does, but it brings out some additional flavors, and it makes the the cheese like glow and shine. It's almost like Pulp Fiction, that box. Like when the pizza shines, it's it's too expensive to, like these bottles of olive oil are not inexpensive. And you do it, you guys all you in the production area, everything's based on cost per, like unit cost. So but it makes such a difference. And I'll make one without it and I'll make one with it, and I'll ask my family, I'm like, which you like better? And every time it's one with it.
Has making pizzas at home changed how shop for pizza outside of the house?
If you invite, like, since now we're friends, if you said, "Hey, if you're in Tampa, come by," like check my stuff out, I'll do that. But for the most part, and my oldest bought me some boxes, like corrugated boxes, like off of Amazon. And I used to not like send people home with stuff, but now we're making more and more. So like now I'll crack open some boxes and I'll send some people home, and they're like, "Oh, you're so close to doing like takeout," and I'm like no.
I'll do it.
Close stuff. So like we did a this past summer we did a trip to Milan in Italy, and we were there for a while, and we ate pizza every day. Like it was an adventure. We and that type of pizza, a knife and fork pizza, or, like you can call it whatever you want. It's a whole different experience. Like since you're a professional, like I rate pizza based off of if I take a bite of it out of it, I don't want everything coming off, right? Like, like that's one
Hmm.
of my first things is like, can I bite it without everything coming off? And all that Neapolitan pizza, like everything's together. Like if you don't eat it with a knife and fork, you can't eat it. And um it was it was a humbling experience because I thought that I was going to be on like this vision quest or this awesome experience, and it was okay at best. Like it was pizza, but it was okay. I hope you get what I'm saying. Like it's a different thing.
Yeah, it wasn't what you were expecting.
And they do that, that high hydration, dough and the high temperature, and, it's fluffy and everything, but, like, I consider it more like bread or like, Italian bread than I did pizza.
I think that's the difference is there's more intent and more focus on highlighting the bread as the main actor in the pizza experience there, which, is fine. It's everyone. There's so many different, that's the beauty of pizza. There's so many different styles, so many different, interpretations of it, and you can have it your way. And you found a way to do it on your own. How did you get linked up with Blackstone?
So there's a guy, his social handle's name is Mike's Mess Hall. He's just a guy. I don't even know his last name, right? So um he's just Mike's Mess Hall to me. So we were doing this, I was doing my thing, and he found me somehow because like you know, even though they say it's not effective, I would always put hashtag Blackstone Pizza Oven in my stuff. He must have either been looking for me or looking for people that had mutual interests or whatever it was. And he found me and he sent me a direct message and he said, hey, this griddle crew is having auditions, uh, apply. So I applied, and I was young in this business at that point. I'm still young, but I was young in this business, and I didn't have that many followers, and it was unique. But like my whole vibe is unique. The application process, they reached out to me. We had a little conversation. It wasn't the right time for either of us. And then like 2 months later, they reached out and they said, "Hey, we'd like you to be part of the griddle crew." So it's a community. So they announce stuff, but most of it is grassroots marketing where people in there reach out to other people, or you see it from there. So it, the whole Blackstone Griddle Cook community is it's very heavily geared towards flat top cooking and stuff.
Hmm.
That whole outdoor cooking vibe is there's a lot of energy towards that. So people who follow me, they're like, so we do a lot of mutual posting. So I put it on my thing. I was like, if you want to be part of it, apply. If you want advice, let me know. And this guy Mike, he hooked me up. I'm forever indebted to him because it in my social
He
circle,
found you.
in my social circle, being associated with Blackstone is kind of like the holy grail, right? Like so, like when I when I talk with my friends, they're like, oh yeah, we saw that Blackstone, you know, gives you approval, even though Blackstone's not the top of the food chain in outdoor pizza ovens.
There's somebody.
Yeah, they're the brand is worth it. So
Yeah.
it's been a very rewarding for me and for them. Like we both have helped each other out. So yeah, and if you want to be part of the griddle crew, you can reach out. Anyone listening, you can reach out to me. I'll be glad to help navigate you through the process, or just pay attention to their open auditions.
Well, that's really cool. I think what I like to hear or see people do is reach out if they want to learn more about, you know, your process and making pizzas at home and, creating a presence on social media and not, you know, not being afraid to put yourself out there. A lot of folks get caught up in, the perfectionism. I think you and I, we kind of started to touch on it a little bit before went live on this. How does that play how does, moving past perfectionism play a part in how you treat your content today versus when you started?
Yeah, that's one of the things that, and I told you I was doing this live, and my persona on a live, which was unscripted and was truly me, is way different than the edited version that shows up on my stuffs. My kids had told me that they thought that the live was going to be the hardest for me because there's sometimes where like I'm goofy, but I was like, that's I'm goofy no matter what, right? So it's I have to work on that part. Like people think that you can just sit down and or just start doing it, and people want quality, they want uniqueness, they want a persona that they can trust. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real. I think being real, whoever you are, because people want to they want to see parts of themselves in you, and they want to see that, oh wait, this guy can stretch a pizza dough. He's just a guy, right? Like he's not
Mhm.
classically trained. He can stretch a piece of pizza. Like last night, one of the people that was here, they said, okay, I know where you get all this stuff at. You told me all this stuff. I see the supplies that you have. I'm gonna make it. And I was like, well, I was like, that's a good start. I was like, that's cool. It's a good start. But just know that experience matters more than anything, right? So like you guys in your shop, when you look at, you can you probably have that mental clock where you know a pizza's been in about a certain time, and you can go check, or you can see from the perimeter how it's going to look. That doesn't come from watching somebody else do it. That just comes from doing it a million times. Like you
Absolutely right.
can feel it.
Experience is a good teacher.
I can feel a dough, and I didn't make it. Most of the time, I'm not making it, but I can feel it. I'm like, this one's going to cooperate, or this one's not going to cooperate. Like I can, 99% of the time, I know what's going to happen. There have been times where I just put that one back away and I grab another one just because I've seen a lot of these guys who run those food trucks, and they're they're All their dough looks exactly alike. None of mine look alike. They all look different.
It's an art. One of the hardest things for me when, I was in between, we sold a shop back in July, and then I just bought another shop a couple of, about a month ago. So I was out, I was home for 6 months. I was trying to figure out what we were gonna do, and I started to make some pizzas. And it was hard. And I'd been making pizzas for 22 years, 23 years. And it's like I knew how to make pizza in that environment. I didn't know how to make pizzas in this environment. My kitchen wasn't I didn't have enough prep space. I had this little KitchenAid mixer and
Those
my
pizzas,
oven.
those
And
pizzas,
I just
the pizza stones for inside of ovens, they're good though. I don't have one, but I've seen the product that they make. That they're good. They're able to make an oven that only goes to 550, another 100 degrees hotter to make pizza. I don't know how it works, but it works.
I tried the stone. It worked pretty good. First I tried on the rack. It's terrible.
Like
It
it's
was
like a
like
steel. I think it's like a steel, not a.
I got the steel. I had the steel now, and the steel is great.
It makes
It
it gets you
it
that.
makes the oven like it gives you that brick oven feel, and it does get you an extra, extra 100 degrees, 120 degrees in that oven. So you can cook normally. It doesn't recover as fast, but it does work pretty well if you're just cooking a few pies.
Just chatting. The one struggle, the Blackstone pizza oven, I love it more than anything. But it for size constraints, it's 16 inches, right? So like there's
Hmm.
sometimes I want like even if I get to 16 inches, it comes to the edge, so that some of that corner shone gets burned a little bit. The pizza steels are good because they're square, so like you have some room to navigate and put it on the inside the Blackstone oven. Its blessing and its curse is the fact that the stone is a size about the size of the pizza that you want to make. So it it takes some time to navigate that too. There have been times where the crust is caught on fire, like, and I've blown it out, and I'm like, oh, that no one saw that.
But you got to show it. Somebody saw it. We didn't see it, but somebody saw that. What are you talking about?
How to? And there were numerous ones where they've fallen face flat onto the ground, and like um, I it gets me mad. So I don't capture that stuff, but I can see how other people seeing would be like, yeah, crap happens to everyone.
Yeah, I have one, and it's still on my camera, but I haven't even looked at it to edit. But I tried to make a breakfast pizza here at the house, and I was gonna launch off of the peel like I've been working on. I grew up making pizzas on screen, so launching off the peel is a new thing for me. Same thing, get my semolina, my flour blend, and I tried to do this breakfast pizza, and I poured way too much egg over it, and it ran over the crust onto the board, and there was no launching that pizza. It was too wet. It just wasn't gonna happen. And I tried anyways, and it made a total mess in that oven. And I have it all there. I'll probably never even watch it to show it because I was so mad. I was so proud of the idea and so disappointed in the pizza maker that is probably never no one will ever
When
see
I
it.
make a breakfast pizza, like I'm fearful of eggs, so I scramble them first, like a quarter way scramble, and then I'll put them on that way so that they're because I tried to. A friend was over 2 weeks ago. That's part of the griddle crew, and I was telling her it's like an earthquake when when you're shaking it. Like if the stuff's not it's not firm in place, it's gonna fall off, right? So like everyone sees when they go to a pizza place, they're like, "Oh, that guy slides it in and he pulls it right out." Right? That's because there's a lot of room to work. You know, like you can just pull it right out.
Yeah.
Um,
At the house,
the
it was
screen's good, but don't you think that sometimes the screen affects the texture of the bottom of the crust?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, just in our shop, what we always did was, cook, I guess 80% of the way on screen and then and pull off to crisp up on the bottom. But yeah, I think there's definitely some subtle differences from just stone baking to using the screen for sure.
I think I think the screen has most people say that they use it because they want a consistent shape, right? And the screen helps you get that consistent shape as well.
Yeah, it does. It's easy to teach someone to make pizzas with the screen too.
How's that?
Just because we have the shape, we have the sides, we can tell them, look, stretch this far past the edge of the screen, tap
Okay.
tap tap to bring it back, or we get weight on, and then we stretch. If you stretch a little bit short, you go sauce and cheese, and then you pull to the edge to
Yeah.
get your to get your shape or to get your size. it's very forgiving when it comes to making the pies. And then of course the launch is super easy because you're just going straight in. My new shop, we have a conveyor, and inherited
Okay,
conveyor oven.
that's good.
And this is it. Well, we got a conveyor and we have a deck. So I got a blodgett on top of the edge conveyor oven, and I promise you, it's been 6 weeks now. Haven't turned the deck on once.
Really? So
Haven't turned it on once.
the conveyor bakes it just the way you want it?
Just we had to do some tweaking. It was very hot. It's got, like, they call them fingers, but it's got all these chambers to blow heat, and
Oh, so it's like a
it was
convection. It's like a convection oven almost.
yeah, it was overcooking the pizza. It was burning the cheese more than I like. So I reached out to a good friend of mine who deals in ovens, and he helped me get it adjusted, helped me get those fingers covered, got me the right product, and the pizza. Once we got it dialed in, I'm
Is
like,
it
I don't know that we ever really need the deck because it's doing what we need in 5 minutes, 20 seconds, and it's
is
out
it
and it's
similar
perfect.
to the Costco conveyor, or is it
Similar to what now?
to the Costco conveyor? Like I've seen the one at Costco where like I don't know. Have you ever been?
Probably.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, it's big. It's got a full 60-inch deck oven on top of it, and I mean, our full, I guess my full length is probably 120 inches
Oh,
of
so you
the,
go like
the belt.
left and right to
Yeah, from left to right, and then my just the belt itself is, I think, 32 inches wide, so we can go side by side 14s or
so you can
stagger 18s on it.
accommodate any amount of business. That's good.
Yeah, it's a production machine.
I watch I watch like a lot of not prowess, but like I'll watch a lot of videos of like conventions where they show all these new unique commercial units, and like there's there's ones where you put the dough in it, it makes perfect dough ball, like you crimp it down and it makes perfect dough balls, and then there's ones where you take that dough ball and you put it on a machine and crimp it down and it makes a perfect, 16-inch crust.
There's a lot of technology out there to help pizza,
Yeah,
but it still doesn't give you the experience needed to get better and to do it at a high level, right? Because, at the end of the day, we all see a lot of pizza shops open and close too. And, and to your earlier point, being an enthusiast allows you to do it for the love of it, and, still have some fun and not get caught up into the financial aspects of it, because it does change things once you decide that you're going to go that route and do pop-ups, or, you know, put your name on a personal guarantee for a commercial lease. Like, these things start to matter, and it comes with different implications. So, I think, for the enthusiasts out there, I love what you're bringing to it, because you're saying, look, I'm not doing this because I want to, I need to make a living from it. I'm doing this because I really enjoy this, and I love seeing that part of it. That's real passion.
I tried to break down the component costs of making it, and it's super hard. Like the cheese is definitely the most expensive. The sauce is
Hmm.
right behind it. Like now I know why pizzas at at mom and pops are like 24, $25 because, or maybe even more, because just to get pepperoni, to get meatball, to get quality cheese, like you can buy them in bulk and get the prices down, but it's still, like you need your unit cost to be for that $25 pizza. You need it to be like $6 in order to cover your overhead and all your stuff. And it's hard. Me, like
It's hard to get there consistently with high quality products once you factor in waste and marketing costs and labor costs and, all these different things. So yeah, it's tough, but there's a lot of folks that are doing it and doing it well. And people knock on the chains and on the big companies, but they figured out a good system for producing pizza, regardless of the quality.
I tell my wife that I'd be broke if I opened up a business. I'd be broke because I would just I'd give everything away. I'd be like, oh, you want? I'd be like, I'm working on this. Like I started making these pinwheels. Like I guess I don't know if you make like
Y-
pepperoni rolls.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I was experimenting stuff, I'd give it away. I'd be a bad businessman when it comes to that.
Yeah, that is a bad business practice. We call them care packages, but we only do we only do a few of them at a time.
Well,
No, there's a component of that, because you want feedback, and you don't want to. I'm having this internal battle right now on just fees, right, which is common practice now credit card surcharges or cash discounts and all these things, and it's literally like my wife's like, why are you still talking about it every night? It's like keeping me up. I don't want to do it, but I also understand that it's almost necessary at this point, like working with third party vendors. I don't want to push those fees onto the customer. What if we could just lower the price and do it but at a fair price? But at some point it becomes bad for the business too.
I'm from that other generation. Like, we don't do Uber Eats or any of that stuff. So like, I like to, I like to go in there and kind of like make sure that it's only been in the person who made its hands and my hands before I eat it. But there's a lot of people out there that will, they don't care how they get it, just as long as they can get it. Like, I'd rather just make it than or drive to go get it than to have it delivered to me. But and it's not for the money. It's just for the fact that, like, it's kind of like you know audiobooks compared to radio books. Some people can read them or some people can't, however it is. But yeah,
Understood.
but just to give you a synopsis of my world is the fact that, like, this has given me purpose and direction. It's become a thing. My wife's very supportive. The internet stuff it wasn't the primary purpose, but it's become one of the driving influences of developing the brand. We're in a spot now where people want to come over and eat, which is great. Like, we had this big Super Bowl party and there's food from everywhere, and everyone's like, "Well, I'll wait for your pizza." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's a glowing compliment." And it's driven off the ego now at this point. It's the fact that I make something that people like and people want, so I'm going to keep making it as long as I can afford to keep making it. I'll keep making it. And if you like, people say, "Hey, I'd like to try that," I'm like, just give me 15 minutes. Come over. 15 minutes. I'll have you. I'll make you whatever you want. There's always supplies ready. So it's pe- people think it's a burden, but for me, it's a pleasure and it's a joy. And the fact that it's all outside, and we live in Florida, it makes it easier because it's not messing up my kitchen. Like, everything I do outside is outside.
Well, it's fun to watch, and I'm glad that you've taken the direction of continuing to bring your creations and your passion out, and having a family that supports it and gets involved with it. I think that makes it even more fun too, knowing that your wife and the kids and everyone's just involved in creating this thing, for that.
When you reached out to me, I was like, "Oh my God, this is all like virgin territory for me." Like, people do these lives and they do podcasts and they do all this stuff. And when you reach out to me, I'm like, "Wait, is this validating that I'm actually doing something right?" And so I was pleased. The second you reached out, I was like, "Yeah, sign me up. Let's do it. Come on." I was like, "We can do this over dinner. Come on over." But you were too
I'll,
far.
look, we can figure that out. I have some family that we visit in that area all the time,
I'd love that. One of the
all the
people in the
time.
Griddle crew, they live in Indiana, and they were like, "Hey, we're going on vacation. You want to get together?" I was like, "Come on over. I'll make you dinner." And it was one of the best nights that I've had in many years. So that Griddle crew is a good quality group of people, all with similar beliefs. And my pizza vibe it fits into their world.
Glad to see that you're here and you're presenting it, and thank you for coming and bringing your world to our world.
So much fun.
Any anything that excuse me, how can folks reach out to you, learn more about your platform? Where's the best place to follow, connect with you? I got you on Facebook, Messenger. We you respond really quick. What's the best place to find Pizza Adam?
So in uh, on TikTok, it's just I am Pizza Adam, the letter
Okay.
I and I am Pizza Adam. On Instagram, it's I am Pizza Adam. My Instagram and my Facebook are linked together. I think I figured that meta world out, that they cross post and everything happens together. On Facebook, it's Adam, and then they let me put I am Pizza Adam as my middle name, Marks. So it's Adam I am Pizza Adam Marks, and then on YouTube, it's just I am Pizza Adam. So at one point, I was trying to figure out whether I just morph to just Pizza Adam. um, it's worked out well for me, so I'm gonna just run with this for a while.
Fix it.
Okay.
I am Pizza Adam. Blackstone Griddle Crew, making pizza for the love. What's been your favorite one?
My go-to pizza every day, every week, up and is just cheese pizza with as much pepperoni as I can fit on it. And I've been experimenting with these pepperoni cups now, so that's my new joy. But as much pepperoni, and then, like, Costco sells these like bacon bits that in this big bag that are not like crappy bacon bits. They're like chunks of bacon that's crumped up. So, like, regular pizza, tons of pepperoni, and some bacon bits with the spice madness seasoning on top of it. I guarantee you, so you come over, you'll say, maybe I need to add this in my menu.
I'm gonna figure it out. I was just looking to see like where my cousin lives in relation to you. He's like kind of like that Hollywood area.
So that Hollywood and where we live are, it's the same street. It would be like, Temple Terrace is north of Tampa. It would be like Tampa to Temple Terrace. So it's 15
Yeah,
minutes.
you know exactly where I'm at then.
Yeah, I work for a really big company that their headquarters are in your area. So I've been there many, many, many times.
All right, then we'll have to find a way to connect. I got some pizza lovers down there in that area close to you.
You keep in touch, and I will feed you.
Say to you, my friend, I'm gonna send you a Publix like 5 item list and see what you create from it, and we'll like give me your Cash App and all that, and we're gonna give you a shopping list and pay for it, and just wait for the video to come out. That's the challenge.
You can send me the list, but you don't need to send me anything. I got it. You just tell me what you want. It's going to be, even if you tell me I need to make homemade dough with it, I'll make homemade dough. It doesn't matter to me. I'll do whatever you want. That was the follower request. Like people would say, hey, chicken bacon ranch is a good pizza too. Like if you can find a way to do that in your shop as like affordable, people love chicken bacon ranch with like an Alfredo sauce. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I like that one. That's one that we did add. The jerk chicken has been a very popular one. We kind of I did a similar thing where I was kind of taking suggestions, and it all got out of hand. Nothing that we could ever sell because I'd have to charge $75 for it. But the jerk chicken stayed. The chicken bacon ranch stayed.
People, if you create a community in your space, like, because I'm the kind of person that is the shop. Like I tell my guys from Blackstone, I'm your demographic. Like I'm the person you want to be buying your stuff. Like when you do your marketing, you're looking for me and my friends. So like in your space, like if you need a 1 or 2 night a week pizza person, that's me and my family and my neighbors. So like sometimes if you listen to your name and you say and you have something that they want, then chances are that they'll be loyal for life. They'll be loyal to you and make them mad.
You're speaking the language right there. And that's our golden customer. That couple of nights a week we see them, we know them, we know their order, we see their name on the caller ID, we just start making it.
And then
Like we love those folks.
we like it as much as you like it. Just so you know, like if you, it's old school, but if you greet me by my name and you're like, "Hey, you want this tonight?" Like, I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, "Well, why would I ever go anywhere else?"
It's like you're trying something new tonight. What happened?
Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes when you have staff, it's hard. But like if you give people a little acknowledgement, they will be loyal forever.
That's great.
As long as your stuff is good. If your stuff's bad, then they're not, they won't give a shot.
Well, look, we've heard it too many times now. Good food is just the entry point. You better be good, or you're not even going to compete at this point. And then beyond that, good food, good service, good environment. We're all humans here. Let's be good to each other.
I'll, I'll,
There's a lot of options for pizza.
I'll leave with this. My youngest, who's going to grad school now, and he's has a part-time job, and he's working at like a bar, restaurant. Every night when he comes home after working, I'm like, "How'd it go?" And he's like, "It's such a simple recipe. People just want to be treated decently. Like if you go up to them and you see that their water is empty, you don't need to fill it. You just need to say, 'Hey, would you like more water?' Or 'Hey, how's the food?' And listen to what they're saying." He's like, you'd be surprised. People are generous and you'll have a job forever. I don't know where common decency is left. Like all you have to do is starts at the minimum, and then when you do a little bit more than that, like as a server, you can do okay because people will take care of you if you just give them like respectable treatment.
Thank you, Adam. It's been a pleasure talking to you, getting to know you. Keep in contact with me. I'd love to see. I'm gonna be watching anyways, but
Just be careful when you tell me to stay in contact. That means we will stay in contact.
no, hit me up anytime.
Awesome.